Hello everyone. We are going to be taking a in-depth look. When I say in-depth, I'm going to be taking the car apart so we can actually see all the different sub-assemblies. But we're going to be looking at my 1/18 scale Road Legends 1963 Chrysler Turbine. Road Legends is a division of Ming Industries, and in this particular model I think they did a fabulous job. Even the paint, the attention to detail is really nice. You got the turbine script in the back, lots of nice chrome bright work. The black vinyl top is recreated faithfully, and as you can see, even inside it has the off-white headliner. You do have your chrome door handles, which is a really nice touch. My particular model, however, is missing the side view mirror and the hood ornament, which I think is kind of funny because the hood ornaments usually ended up being stolen anyway off these cars. Take a look at the front. The front just kind of looked like a dart, really. The only difference was the headlamps had the turbine nacelle look to them, and then below that you had your turn indicators. And you did have your grille. This should have been painted black, however it's not. And I do like how they actually added in the turbine and the Chrysler Corporation badge. The three vents, separately painted and colored, looks very nice. And the wheels, they were the 14-inch just standard tires, and it had turbine covers on them. However, on this model they're not shown, but the white walls actually had a turbine vane motif. Alright, going around to the rear of the car, the most striking feature of the car was its rear design. Kind of looks like a Thunderbird, but Elwood Ingle did design this car, and he also designed the Ford Thunderbird, so that's kind of where that comes from. However, it is a very nice representation of the Chrysler Turbine. You have your separate translucent red tail lamps, your twin nacelles that house the backup lamps, lots of chrome, even separate chrome trim for the lower part as well. Just overall a very nice. There are some inconsistencies with the real car, but I mean, this is a 1/18 scale model, so credit where it's due. It's probably one of the nicer models of the turbine anyway. You do have your Pentastar logo, however on the turbine car there I think they were gold. That's okay. That is okay. So going down the hood, vinyl top looks really nice. Alright, looking in the engine compartment, everything opens on this car, opening doors, hood, and trunk. As you can see, pretty nice look of the A831 twin regeneration turbine motor. The motor developed 130 horsepower at 3100 RPM. Actually, it was 3600 RPM, I'm sorry. And it developed a staggering 425 pound-feet of torque at 0 RPM. Nice thing about the turbine engines is they're a lot like the electric motors, is that they have all of their available torque at 0 RPM. Alright, let's take a look at the interior. It's not too bad. Has dog leg hinges. That was not how the doors were, but that's okay. It's a scale model. The reason why I'm coming down here, because if you have in the real car inside this armrest, there would be a red flashing warning light to tell other motorists that the door is open. Of course, at this time, this vehicle was well equipped. It had power windows on all 4 windows. So on the driver's side door, you have your power window switches. Nice detail on the interior, quad bucket seating. And just a quick look at the passenger side. I do have a replica of the owner's handbook. Kind of nice looking on the seat there. Alright, and here is the trunk open. Alright, so we're taking a close look at the engine. I have actually removed it from the model. It is a fair representation of Chrysler's A831 twin regenerative variable vane nozzle design turbine engine. If you look at Chrysler's engineering drawings, you'll see that this is a faithful representation of this engine. See each regenerator on both sides of the motor and the spots where the heat exchangers attach. Normally that would be like an exhaust, but on the turbine they're actually heat exchangers. This right here is the mount where the Torque Flight 3-speed automatic transmission will mount. You have your accessory drive up front. And here is the Torque Flight 3-speed automatic transmission, complete with the oil reservoir. The modified version of the Torque Flight just meant that it didn't have a torque converter. And on the Road Legends, this particular model, this is actually 3 different pieces all held together with 1 screw. It's actually a very nice amount of detail. I love the high quality gloss black. One thing I would have liked to see is just a matching black screw, but when it's mounted to the car you can't actually see it. Propeller shaft, drive shaft, whatever you'd like to call it, mounts in there. Alright, so here is a total look with the transmission mounted to the engine. Very high quality build and a very high attention to detail. As you can see, you have the chrome plated parts. You've also got the gloss black, the matte silver, and the Chrysler engine green. I really like even that they painted that separately, which is really nice. Alright, another part of the model that might be overlooked but is pretty correct actually if you consider. You have your air filter and breather that mounts to the front of the car. I imagine that's probably the horn assembly. You've got your battery, and then you've got the Chrysler Corporation logo with the turbine lettering. I actually made that. It was just a flat silver circle and I made the decal itself. But I do like the colors. Focus in there. There we go. I do like it. Actually matches the body pretty well. Alright, we're going to look at the underside of the car now. The silver heat exchangers that run the entire length of the car out to the back. And they are actually, not only are they painted the matte silver, but they are actually 2 separate pieces, which is really nice. Here you have the 1963 turbine road signature. And then of course you can see the drive shaft connected to the rear differential. Also has the leaf springs. And in the back you have your fuel cell and your outlets. Alright, and now we have the motor and transmission, drive shaft all hooked up. And with the breather on, looks very nice. What I think is really neat and worth mentioning is that you'll see that with the breather on, you do not see the accessory drives at all, but yet they managed to put all the details in there anyway. I like that. Looks really well, and it pretty well matches the engine compartment of the actual turbine. And looking at the interior, a faithful representation of the quad bucket seat turbine themed interior. I have added the owner's manual sitting in the seat. I thought that was kind of a neat little touch. Seat backs do move forward to allow entry to the rear bucket seats. Also, the fact that they put in where rear windows would go, they don't roll up or anything, but I like the touch. Of course, you're looking at the rear seat, rear bucket seats, English calfskin leather, had kind of like a lighter color leather insert, and this compartment here would open to reveal an ashtray and cigarette lighter. I guess that was really popular in the 60s. And also, while it looks kind of odd, it is an actual design element to have the satin chrome seat back. That's actually stated in the engineering book, so it's a good touch. The center tunnel is pretty faithful, especially in 1/18 scale. I mean, it could have been done a little bit better, but kudos where they actually put the turbine theme. You have your torque flight lever, your gear readout selector right here, and then you have your different HVAC controls here, handbrake. Overall, the interior is really well done. Moving on to the trunk. The trunk is a little bit different. They do have the spare tire mounted here. I don't think that's how it was really in the car. And on the tire too, I wish it would have had the turbine vanes in the sidewalls, but other than that, pretty good. And the fact that it's painted black apart from the rest, I like that also. And the steering wheel actually is probably, it looks like the turbine steering wheel. However, there should be a little logo in the middle, and I don't think the orange, I think the orange could be a little bit darker. But it is mounted to a gloss black column to allow for steerable wheels. And now we have the dashboard. The dashboard is actually a fair representation of the turbine's instrument panel. It was actually finished in the turbine bronze colored leather. It did actually have a stainless steel lower portion. 3 pods for the gauges. I actually have replaced these with my own design. They've been shrunk down considerably. Here are the models gauges. They're not bad, but they're kind of cartoonish. They have good detail. They're actually legible. However, you'll see the top portion of this gauge here. That would be the temperature. and it's actually in 5, 10, 15, and 2,000 degree increments, not 1, 2, 3, 4. This lower portion gauge here, instead of saying 1, 2, 3, it should just simply say, down at the bottom, it should say D and C, that is your amp gauge. And then you have your oil pressure gauge, speedometer with odometer, trip odometer, and central mounted fuel gauge is correct. It is actually a 120 mile per hour speedometer. And then you have your inlet turbine revolutions tachometer. It is times 10,000. So it is actually a 60, no, it's times 100. No, 1,000. I'm sorry. So it is a 60,000 RPM tach, and it is correct with having the clock. Moving down, you have your controls for like your lights and your wiper washer. Your AM radio, it is a fully transistorized radio with a electroluminescent display. This band going along here was an electroluminescent band, and at night around this area here it would show turbine car by Chrysler Corporation that would illuminate turquoise, and then you have your various warning lights and the turn signals and things of that nature. So that is the dashboard. Alright, now just looking at the interior, fully assembled. And just a look at the undercarriage as it is fully assembled now. Very nice amount of detail on this car. Alright, that does about do it for this look at my Road Legends 1/18 scale Chrysler Turbine. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.